All right, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for Vinland Saga, Episode 7.
Okay. Last episode was a bit of a doozy.
Yeah.
Just a bit. Thorfinn, by himself almost, made sure that the attack went successfully.
Yep.
But there were some people that cared for him.
Yep.
And he cared about them.
And while they couldn't even understand what each other were saying because they even went down to the detail of them not speaking the same language, which I think is just brilliant.
Yep.
The idea that there are so many things that communicate beyond language, and he understood that. He felt that. So when they were coming, when he set the signal and stuff, he told them to run.
Yeah.
That was his one English word that he understood, which is kind of terrifying thinking about his lifestyle to this point, that the one word that comes to him easily is run.
Yeah.
Because he hears it over and over again. Then he basically watches her die. Then, of course, he has to stomach that.
Right.
Or just shove it down, bottle it down, or disconnect it from himself. And he has that kind of that... Yeah, I think it was in through the mouth, out through the nose. Because he doesn't know how to breathe properly. But then he just kind of has this look of, I don't care.
All right. And then he runs off with
the
rest
band
of them,
Vikings,
Yep. Oh boy. So now
we
might
continue on with his journey,
and we could get more stuff with them doing missions and stuff, but we could also get him challenging Askeladd again, because Askeladd said when you do something,
some accomplishment,
on the battlefield, then I'll let you challenge me again. So I mean, that could be here.
Yeah,
doesn't have to be.
He has survived the battlefield these years. I don't know if they said specifically how many years this has been. I don't think they did. I think that
probably
that he was 6 when he was taken, and I would say he's hit puberty at this point, like just barely. So it's probably like 8 years or something, or 9 years. Actually, that's a good point. Anime protagonist, he's probably 15.
Sure. Well, and wasn't he more like 11 or 12?
No,
or 10 or something? He was 6?
He was 6, yeah.
All right. Yeah. So now there's all kinds of things that they can do here. So yeah.
The survival of one kid in this cruel, cruel world. So y'all, without further ado, let's get into it. Oh.
11世紀デンマーク軍およびバイキングによる侵攻は激化の一途をたどっている。
People fleeing the war.
そして
Dang.
数年間にわたって継続された攻撃は転換点を迎える。
Oh. Okay.
イングランドから兵を引
It's the king of Denmark. Whoa.
した軍にも兵器を養わせよ。仰せの通りに夏だ。来年夏には大攻勢を海賊連中も当分用なしだね。
Cue Askeladd's crew. Yep.
どうするつもりだ。どうするもこうするも。渡り鳥と一緒さ。餌のあるところに移動するだけよ。
Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Oh man.
Oh my god. France. Whoa. Oh, yeah. They need cover. Oh my god.
Whoa.
They just got decimated.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh my god. Jeez.
Is this a job for a rogue?
Yeah. There's an abbey there. Yeah, so they raid the town, lure people out of the fort. Yep. Nice. Whoa.
All right.
Oh.
Oh man.
Oh. What is this build-up?
Yeah. This track is real good.
Yeah. All right,
And now we get the opening.
Wow.
After that, wow.
Oh, thank you, Rob. We have the lyrics now. Nice. Wisdom and lead.
What went wrong?
What went wrong? Paid my dues. I've sold my soul. Tell me what is left for me when I've given up everything. Wait, don't get down, down, down. Down, yoshimo, mitemo, nimo, nanijiga do not yo. Kageyoshi no shitemo. Those are long words, oh my god. Don't goddamn know. Oh, and getting the translation too, so we know what that means.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh. Shouting out into the void.
Someone try to answer me.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my god. Normandy. So Normandy, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is D-Day. Dagger Day.
Wow. Dagger, dagger, dagger.
Yeah.
Whoa. Oh.
He doesn't like getting used.
Whoa. His voice. His voice. Oh, yeah. Give me a duel.
I'm feeling a bit underappreciated.
Oh!
But at least he Naruto runs.
Yep. Yeah. Keeps throwing him into harm's way, and he's gonna end up creating a monster, like someone who's capable in many different areas. Yeah. Brilliant. Ooh, those ribs. Whew.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh, that's what they call the Vikings. Okay. Ah. So it'll get pulled downriver, and then they won't be able to get out. Oh! 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 Yeah. Nice. Oh! Brilliant. Brilliant. Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. Oh, wow. He still keeps the memory of his father, like deep inside him. It's just that he's gotten so cold inside that it. Okay, so how will they figure out the river situation? Whoa.
They're just... No way.
They're moving the ship.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. Yes.
That'd be so difficult.
That's brilliant.
I mean, if you have 100 men, yeah, you could do it.
I mean, yeah, you get rolling logs, you know, and stuff, and you... Oh my god. This guy, like, came straight
like a
from
toad.
Berserk. You know?
Yeah.
Oh. Wow. Wow. Oh. Oh, crap. Okay, Jacob, here we go.
That they're realistic with the numbers, too. That a force of 800 men would actually be pretty terrifying.
Yeah. Now, the thing is that there's probably only about 150 in the actual...
fort?
In the actual fort, yeah.
Right, exactly.
Oh. Wait. Wait. Are they still bringing the boat?
Yeah, I think so. He's looking at the wind. Oh, okay.
Oh. I'll go kill him.
Oh, this is the part from the OP where it goes and jumps over the line.
Yeah, head with the helmet.
Yeah.
Oh, right. What is this? What is this? They're still pushing the boat?
Are they,
oh my god.
Are they under the boat? And they're gonna use it as protection?
No, I think they're gonna use it as a ramp. Oh my god, wait, they are under the boat! What? What?
That's insane.
I mean, their boats are light. They ride on the top of the sea, so they can go so quickly. What? What?
No.
No way!
No way. No way.
What is happening? This is so hype. How'd they get in though? Did they release it and then they came around and jumped up on the back? Like, how did they get up so quickly? Ah! Okay, so it's a proper distraction.
Gotcha, and because of the distraction, that's why he thought this was a good idea.
Right. Well, he's also got his own motivations, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, dang. Askeladd's like so hyped. He's like,
Yep.
Oh, here come the arrows. Whoa! Yeah.
I like that they're taking... They're noticing the difference between, like, bows versus crossbows and things like that.
Oh.
Oh, because Thorfinn's up there.
Yeah, exactly. They're like that scared. They have to pull out like melee weapons.
Right, exactly.
Because they all have crossbows. They're not even ready. Oh my gosh!
Oh,
now he has a sword.
No way. What? Okay,
is that a
Zoro?
One Piece reference?
Yeah,
Okay. Oh my god!
No way.
Oh, this point of view.
Yeah.
What? Oh my god!
Yeah, because he needs a sword to take his head.
Oh, and then it fell off into the water.
And now he's just gonna jump into the... Wait. Yep.
They're like, what? Now it's an even fight. They might even have numbers to Nope, never mind. Right, and then meanwhile they're working on
pincer,
the gate.
yeah.
Yep.
Oh.
And the fight is
everyone's already
over.
dead.
Jeez. The
Butcher.
carnage.
Yeah. on a little
donkey. Yeah.
Yeah, or like one of those like mini horses.
Yeah. Well, no, the regular guy there is he's just fat, if anything. Yeah. Yeah, I saw that coming. Oh, it's all gone.
It's completely
empty.
cleared out.
Yep. You gained nothing from this. Wow. Oh, are they manning the walls? Oh, my God. King Askeladd! Nice.
Yeah, they get the city. That's pretty good.
Oh my God, wow. Wait. Oh, they destroyed the boats in the fort too. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Wow. Yeah. Whoa.
我が父の剣にかけてアシュラッドに決闘を申し込む。
の子アシュラッド、我が祖アルトリウスの名にかけてトルフィンの挑戦を受けよう。
Whoa.
が
So they're gonna go down the waterfall intentionally? Can they do that?
There's no way though. Like,
oh my God! You're kidding me!
wow.
What? And then not only that, navigating such a narrow river while going so quickly.
Oh yeah.
Oh, this track, this is awesome. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Just another Tuesday, you know? Yep, it's just like a Wednesday with my Viking bros.
Okay.
Wow. There's so much in that.
That was so
There's so
awesome.
much in that.
That was great.
And they went all out. That was an actual battle. Like,
although you could tell certain parts of the episode where they made sure, like, you know, they weren't showing lip flaps and things like that in order to save for it.
Yeah, and they uniformed the 3D movements of the soldiers tossing up the helmets and things like that. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah, but
But, oh, I love it. I love
it.
And we also got to see, I'd say, a little bit more from Thorfinn as he was actually with his Viking compatriots, so that, you know, there's actual communication facilitated.
Mm-hmm.
I think we also saw a little bit more of the type of person Askeladd is.
Yes.
Because they're trying to contrast the idea of him being a man without honor who killed the honorable man and being a schemer, a trickster with regards to how he handles opponents, also accepting the duel from the vengeful kid he keeps with him.
Right. Even though he does a bunch of underhanded things to try and get rid of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
He has to present himself as being someone worthy of being followed to his men.
Right.
So he showcases that he is, I'm a man of my word. I will duel you. Absolutely. Okay.
All right.
Medieval combat, Jacob. Medieval combat.
Oh,
I've been so starved in anime for something like this. And now it's just
starved in general.
It's so good.
And here's the thing.
Like Berserk had it kinda. But it was 1997. This is 2019.
It was 97. It was 97. And it was still pretty much a thing of, and then Gut swung his mighty sword, you know.
It's true. It's true.
But here, we have things like, okay, even though we have things like Thorfinn jumping the moat.
Leaping the moat.
Yeah. You know, it's like,
it's okay.
All right, well, whatever. But we've got things like, you know, them carrying the boats, which is still like, you know, maybe pushing it a little bit, but it's still totally fine.
They did that. They actually would do that. They would do that in order to navigate difficult things. The boats were not as heavy as you'd think. I think they did use typically wooden rollers to get them through the upper, like to move them like up an area. But but the idea that this was very much possible, and
they had 100 men and only 3 ships. So that's if you've got 35 men almost per ship.
Right, if we assume that they're also these hulking, muscular
right, because they
guys.
do this for a living, it's just what's demanded of them, then, yeah,
it was hyper dramatic and overemphasized to, allow us to have the rule of cool anime
exactly.
moment.
The stuff of them, like, running that fast with them, okay.
And because if one of them just tripped a little bit, they'd just be dead.
Yeah, right.
Or, like, mangled and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
But... oh my god.
And like the crossbows, like the whole idea of like, no. These are people with crossbows. Crossbows have more punching power because for one, I don't know if they did this necessarily back then, but I think the idea with crossbow bolts was that they were shorter, but they were actually hollow and the shaft was made of metal. So they had a lot more punching power.
Yeah, they were bolts essentially.
Right, exactly.
They were nothing like arrows.
Yeah. So
also,
you have a wooden shield to try and stop it?
Yeah. And the only thing metal about the Vikings' shields would have been the bindings to keep it basically static, and that would have been on the perimeter of the shield. So that shield's basically going to mitigate about 50% of the speed on that.
And it could stop some if it's not like a straight shot and things like that, and if it's not like hitting the support cross section of wood or whatever.
Yeah.
But otherwise you can have things where it just punches right through, and that's terrifying. And then it's like there's a reason why it's like bring the crossbowmen. What money can do in a medieval setting, because most people wouldn't be able to afford a crossbow, right? And having 20 guys with crossbows, that's a big deal, right? Then it doesn't matter if you have your boards to protect you while you're trying to battering ram the place,
Yeah, that was the point about the battering ram, is that they weren't really as worried, it seemed, about the arrows. And that's why they didn't have as much protection around them as well. But then when they're like, okay, bring the crossbowmen and alternate into 2 firing groups from 2 different sides, suddenly the whole battering ram group just drops. They all just drop. And they're like, run away! Get out of there! We all just died! Like... oh, it's brutal.
And the thing is, there were also some what I felt like were references here to several different stories that were rather on point. There was Thorfinn doing the whole Zorro thing with the dagger in his mouth and the sword and the other dagger and stuff.
3 blades,
right? 3 blades and everything, which was great. But then there's also Mr. Toad Berserk, guy, where it's like, okay, let's show that yes, he has a very wide mouth and he can open it very far, and he's got the warts on his tongue and everything, and like,
I appreciate that. Also, that's a really good thing to bring up, is that at this point in time, like everything with Charlemagne and all that was long gone. So France is now a divided area. There's no unifying king or what have you. Because if I remember correctly, Charlemagne was more like around the 700s and the 800s, or at least the effects of his rule would have been felt in the 800s. But I believe it was more in the 700s, like early like 730 or 740. And he was basically like one of the greatest rulers that, in terms of military conquest, that France had ever had. And I believe at about this point, everything's now divided back up into little provinces and kings and what have you. And this kind of internal squabbling would make sense. And then you have mercenaries who are basically like,
we'll play both sides.
Yeah, let's the latest intel from France is that things are a little bit, divided over there. So let's go and take advantage of that. And we'll leverage the fact that we have 100 fighters. You can deal with us.
Right.
And it'll work out well for you. Or you can not deal with us, and we'll go side with the other other ones there.
And the thing is,
like, yes,
an extra 100 men when you're in a fort.
Yes.
Is a lot different than an extra 100 men when you're not in the fort. And the biggest thing that they had going for them was, well, we can attack in different ways because, we fight different. We have boats, things like that and whatnot.
And let's be real, they didn't want to side with the defenders. They didn't. Like, they don't want to sit and prepare against the siege or what have you.
But they could probably get a bunch of money that way too, because then.
But not nearly as much.
Not nearly as much, right? Because here they get everything.
They get everything, yeah.
But in that situation, they could probably end up getting a lot of money from them, and well, if they're brought in, to help defend the city, they could also turn on the city once they're in, and then do the same thing.
Do you get excited about the idea of Thorfinn being the vanguard, like scout, killer, negotiator, like all the main forward advance roles of this Viking raiding party that he'll grow as a person as he understands how different people work, different cultures, and all this all this kind of general knowledge that he will just be absorbing through this experience.
In D&D terms, he's getting power level.
Because exactly.
He's going to kill the most people. He's going to do the most quests and interactions and, meet the most NPCs and things like that.
Yep.
So, yeah. Which is great, and I love it. And it also gives him a sense of agency because he's on missions by himself.
Yes.
One of the big issues that's why the mentor figure in stories is removed so early is so that you can have a sense of like consequences and actual threat to the main character. Because
you don't
otherwise,
want the mentor covering for them every time they mess up.
Yeah. And especially in a situation like this where there's a small army, right?
Yeah.
How do you make that still feel like there's conflict,
Right.
So, well, have them go off on their own and have it be a regular thing. And then by having it be something where the mentor is also kind of trying to get them killed.
Yep.
Now, he might also be kind of glad that Thorfinn survived in a way, right? Yeah. While at the same time, wanting to get him killed. There's a great conflict there because now it's not the idea of I'm sending you on your own because you should be fine anyways. It's not that big a deal, right? There's
levels, there's layers.
Maybe we'll get lucky and he'll die, that makes it even more interesting when you're already dealing with something that is, even as amazing as this is, it's a self-contained little episodic story of how they get a bunch of money, right? So throwing everything else that you can into making it exciting and thrilling and all that stuff is wonderful.
For sure. I love also the idea that we set this episode up with a little bit of a, not necessarily another time skip, but kind of an expositional, okay, this is where the conflict with the King of Denmark and the Danes and the Vikings that have allied with him and England is going. And right now there's a little bit of a lull in the fighting because we're heading up on winter. So like they're in the end of the fall season. They're like, okay, what should we do? We need to basically plan out the next 6 months or 3 months or what have you of time. And they're like, okay, let's have the men rest. It's been a crazy, conflict up until this point. And we'll basically renew the attacks in the summer. What that basically lets us know is that the global big large-scale conflict
is being put on pause
so that we can focus on our band of Vikings, our
we can have gallivanting adventures with
evil
them
band of the Hawk, basically, and have them get their, I would say, character focus, like the individual characterization, motivations, and such.
Yep.
Do you find that Askeladd presents himself as being a man of many faces and masks?
Absolutely.
Because his personality in this episode was very different than when we saw him interacting with Thor's way back when.
And I feel like that's because there was the time skip of Thorfinn growing up a bit, but then also that bit of a time skip from the previous episode to this one where it's like, okay, now we're putting that all on hold because winter's coming,
Right. But there's something that was interesting here was there were many times where he took the luxury of being the I lead from behind. I lead by maybe loud vocal,
and the strategy and all that.
Strategy and loud vocal bravado. But he doesn't actually lead from the front. He is not he's not a coward by any means, but he is a more pragmatic leader where he says, because of my privilege of being the leader, I am not going to go with the first 50 men into the city.
Because something could go wrong. He's a more, to make the comparison to Berserk, he's a more practical version of Griffith, just in the same way that Thorfinn is a much more practical version of Guts, right?
Yes.
So no, he's not going to be on the front lines because there could be a stray crossbow bolt that comes out of nowhere,
and there was one, and he barely blocked it with his sword. If anything, it was a little bit rule of cool of him just being like, ting, what, shield? No, shield's not going to do anything.
Exactly.
I just bring in my blade and
shields
deflect
aren't cool enough for main characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Right. And there is definitely a rule of cool that happens here, but there's that remembering of the practical that makes the rule of cool feel like it's not too extreme, right? It doesn't break the immersion of everything else and the tension and of the conflict, right? So in the same way that that he has this respect for Thor's and he's probably grown to care about Thorfinn a bit and stuff, he still is very much like, yeah, I don't want to die, right? And the more that Thorfinn shows that he's grown and things like that, the more that there's a chance that he could actually potentially kill Askeladd. So, yeah, Askeladd doesn't want to fight him, right? He's going to do all these things to push off fighting him, right? And to also put Thorfinn in the way of potentially dying, you know?
But I also think that this is where we need to think about why he pushed it off for so long to the point where this kid could actually now kill him. Like, here's a thing I think they're trying to bring up here is they're building up how competent Thorfinn has become in this time here. Now, if you think about it from Askeladd's perspective, he's probably so cunning and so seasoned of a fighter and a warrior that he doesn't feel threatened by Thorfinn still. He still sees him as a kid who's got obvious tricks that maybe he'll throw
that are very useful.
Yes, that are very useful to him. But what does he gain by pushing off and still letting live this kid who will soon become a man and in some ways is well on his way to becoming a man and actually then be able to kill you? Is it because he trusts in some ways Thorfinn won't do what he almost did as a kid and kill him in his sleep? And he'll like, no, he's going to kill me when I'm facing him, when I've drawn my blade, and when we're both engaged in an honorable duel.
Yeah, I think he's basically realized that Thorfinn has made the decision that I'm going to do it the right way. Now, if he pushed him off too much, he may go back to killing him in his sleep.
That is my worry, right? Yeah.
But that's why he keeps sort of like teasing him along while basically trying to get all the golden stuff that he can get from Thorfinn's help. Right. While at the same time putting off the actual duel so that way he can continue to live his life. Yeah. And he's like, he's probably come to terms with the fact that eventually he's going to be killed because of just in his line of work, that's how it happens, you know? But
maybe that's something he doesn't mind if it's in 10 more years or something where he's like, no, if you end up being someone who's half the great man that Thor's was,
then
not only would he be happy to let him kill him, but I think he'd be happy to turn over his raiders to Thorfinn.
Oh, yeah. Thorfinn could become the,
Like, he basically asked Thor's, early on, like, will you lead them for me?
Right.
And his men are like, wait, none of them? Well, what?
Yeah.
And even Thor's is like kind of gives him this stern look of like, what's wrong with you? Or like, how?
Well,
like,
or just a... I don't do that anymore.
Exactly. And then Askeladd like quickly doubles back like, I'm just joking. Like, why would I do that? And it's like, no, you weren't joking. Like, I think he's maybe seriously thinking about retirement. Like, there's some parts of him that's like, I want to live to survive this.
Yeah, I mean,
and maybe the son is
if he like gets enough
his
money,
judgment, if you will.
Yeah, that could be it. And while I don't think he'd ever roll over dead for Thorfinn,
I agree. I agree.
It's the thing of maybe, just maybe, given enough time, I can make it so that Thorfinn doesn't actually want to kill me. And if not,
that's another thing too.
And if not, then I'm sure I can handle him. I have survived this long after all.
Right. Let's assume they duel next episode. Okay. They duel next episode. Askeladd wins again.
Right.
Askeladd wins again. I say if he wins the duel again, it's going to mark a turning point for this whole thing here, because what I think he'll do is before the duel even begins, he'll set his own stakes. He's like, if I win, what do I get?
Sure.
I think what he'll do, this is my opinion.
You got to work for me kind of a thing?
I think what he'll do is he'll say, I will set up a deal with you. If you duel me and I win, you are only allowed to duel me once a year.
Or even just the next time, like... Well, here's the thing.
No, but you have to serve me during that year.
Right.
I require another year of servitude if you lose.
Yeah.
And then he'll do it again and again. Because you know what I'm thinking about this is I was thinking of Askeladd as basically the eventual surrogate replacement father figure for him. And I think that will still happen, but that's like way in the future. I think what's going to happen is that right now he's being the manipulative significant other, like the manipulative boyfriend, basically.
Oh, yeah.
Is that he's doing basically the, I'm going to get as much as I can out of you while I've got you. And then once I don't need you tomorrow, I'll just cast you aside. It's like, that's some like, that's some manipulative.
And the thing is that that's the practical thing to do.
It is.
But the thing is that will Askeladd actually do that? Right? Because don't tell me you've grown to care for the boy.
I think he cares for him.
Oh, yeah, me too, right. But he cares more for his own life, granted, because after all, like, they're mercenaries and stuff, and right? But, I I like the idea of there being something after this one, because I don't, like Thorfinn could win here and he could kill him, but I kind of don't think that's going to happen. But if it does, if Askeladd wins, I almost feel like he can't afford to, for the sake of his men or whatever, he can't have it be something where it's just this ongoing, you can duel me once a year kind of a thing, because I feel like that would end up to the rest of his men, that would basically communicate that it's okay to challenge.
Oh,
right.
So does he take a piece of him?
Or I don't know, but there would need to be something, I feel like, because the thing is that entertaining him while he's a kid, that's one thing, but having a trained killer, right, working for you that is also looking for your head, right? That sets a bad example.
Okay. Here's where I think that he can still balance the two here, because I feel like Askeladd really wants. Like, he really wants something beyond this life. That's something that will make him at least a little bit more interesting.
Right, and seeing that in Thor struck a chord in him.
Okay, yes. But the thing I think that's really a problem with this with regards to the men thing that you're talking about here is that none of the Vikings so far that we've seen have the capacity to actually lead them.
That is very true. And
none of them seem to be specifically desiring to lead this.
Right, because they know that that's where Askeladd shines.
That's where Askeladd really takes the mantle of that and holds it, like he carries that well. Yep. He comes up with these brilliant strategies, these insane ideas, and they work. He pulls them off because they believe in him and because he believes in them.
Right.
So, I think that if anything, we're going to see more of a weird, twisted version of this relationship continue with Thorfinn and Askeladd, but however he's basically owned by Askeladd might change.
Right, because I could almost see it like potentially a Griffith thing happening where it's like, okay,
you're mine.
Yeah, but if I win kind of a thing, then this is what happens. And they could also and if they wanted to do that, they could bring up something where maybe Askeladd is like, okay, I'm not the only one you want to kill. So, here's the thing, right? Oh. You could just obsess over me, or, let's have a talk about Floki, right?
Oh.
And then basically it could be a thing where he comes in and he starts helping Thorfinn, and it's like, okay, you're still working for me because I beat you, right?
Right.
And I legit beat you, right?
Yeah.
So don't bring this up again, or I will have to kill you.
Right.
And I will do it.
I have 100 men with me.
I have 100 men with me, and I myself can beat you, right?
Yes.
So let's not do that. But hey, if you have your own thing that you want to do, cool. Yeah, I kind of hate Floki too, right? So he did it. This is where I know that he goes and this is where he runs his command thing or whatever. Of course, you couldn't do this associated with us at all. But I could potentially help supply you with information, whatever, so that, if some random, wild-haired kid snuck into his area and, with a knife.
God, he's a Yoms Viking, though. Like, I imagine him, shirtless, and it's like the knife goes in like this much, and he's just like, puny kid,
Right. And that could be the other thing that Askeladd brings up. He's like, you think you can beat Floki? He's like,
can't even beat me.
You can't even beat me.
Yeah,
he's like,
I'm a frail old man. Like,
Floki, he's a beast.
Yeah,
right?
I've just got my tricks, and you can't even beat those.
But if you stick with me, kid, you'll go far.
We'll go places.
And I'll treat you like an actual, equal part of this thing, where you'll actually, you'll get good money and things like that you can use to help maybe get vengeance against him.
Wait a minute. We're assuming something else here.
What?
Now, this is a weird theory, but who's to say that he hasn't already dueled Askeladd a couple times in the time skip? Now, I don't think it has as much emotional value if he has, but here's an idea. A way that he can basically make this be like the regular thing. They're like, oh, he's going to duel right now? Is that he punishes him. Basically, he humiliates him in front of the men. And it's basically, he reminds him and the men that this is just a wounded dog that I have with me. He is our attack dog. We use him. And he is just that. He's a tool. And then they scourge him or something.
Maybe, but I don't think they would have I don't think they would retcon in that there have been other duels and not have shown them.
Okay, but the way you could show them is he beats him again, they tear off his shirt, and they show old scourgings from previous duels.
Yeah.
That's a way they could
Potentially. But
yeah, I think it's more emotionally impactful if this is the one, because he said, has this been enough? Like, has this been enough?
Mm-hmm.
And that was based on the stuff that he said before the time skip when he was like, you need to accomplish something on the battlefield. So there probably haven't been duels previously to this.
And one of the other things that I would love to see is that if it's something where Askeladd basically ends up defeating him and then basically being like, hey, I can help you potentially with Floki, like, you know, go for the long game, basically, play smart.
Right.
Then they could have something where Askeladd dies after having helped him in all of these ways where he's specifically helping him, like it's all cards on the table kind of a thing.
It's him being the surrogate father
exactly
figure in that
because
regard.
right now he's not a surrogate father, he's a mentor, and there could be that basically that the what's it effect where the prisoners, you know, like Stockholm syndrome basically, where Thorfinn is alive because of Askeladd, you know, and Askeladd has helped him survive and, you know, acquire these skills and things like that. But it's still very much this thing of I try to kill you and you also kind of try and get me killed.
Okay.
You know.
Final way that I think that he could make it so he has to explain to his men why he's letting Thorfinn live is that he basically says, all right, and as you know, this honorable duel, you know, means that you've been disarmed, so you have to die now. Do you have anything that you believe your life is worth to me, basically? Like, that you will trade your life for.
Yeah.
And then he does that. And then he's like,
okay,
man, what do you think? And they're like, keep him around. Yeah.
We kind of like the kid.
Yeah, we kind of like the kid. They're like, I haven't been doing the scouting as much anymore because, you know, Thorfinn's taking it.
It was nice having those crossbowmen not be shooting at us our entire way up the hill.
Right.
You know?
And I think that will be how he handles this, is he spins this as like, I mean, I could, but my men, they seem to like you. So, and he kind of keeps it as I am a benefactor.
Right. And as long as you continue like being of use, then we can keep this relationship going.
Right.
Yeah. And then they could have something where then if Thorfinn ever wants to, if it ever seems to not be worth it to him, then he just splits. Right?
Yeah, and then wouldn't be hard.
Right, and that's where they can go into the true thing of the mentor essentially dying in a way without actually dying, because now it's the main character going off on their own
his own story.
Right, and now suddenly, while Thorfinn would have a bunch of skills to be able to take care of himself, there would be a whole bunch of dangers that he would have to worry about.
He doesn't speak any of the other languages.
Right.
He needs to establish a new family essentially, all these other.
And in a way, you could say that a lot of those things are things that he's been specifically trained to deal with because of the missions that Askeladd would put him on, because those missions would be him by himself. Yeah. But at the same time, you know, now he really is by himself. Yeah, you know, he doesn't have 100 men that he can use as leverage.
Yeah, but I don't even know if he would have the fire within him to survive as much if he doesn't have that internal motivation kept in. Because I want to echo something. Well, echo something. It's more like remind of something that I discussed in the previous couple episodes, was that there's this part of having a main character where you need to give them this very simple, easy to understand goal.
Yeah.
And as long as it's something that is internally consistent, like it's something that they willfully desire and their characterization is built around that, they're very easy to understand, and I'd say they don't fall into any traps of being a main character.
Yeah.
Thorfinn reiterated the challenge word for word in the way that his father did it, and in the way that that he did it when he was a kid.
Okay.
Meaning that it's kind of a mantra to him. I repeat these words.
Yeah, my name is Inigo Montoya.
Yes, you killed my father. Prepare to die. It's something that he holds within him to keep him strong, I would say, and to keep him focused on the prize. So, like, when he sees the captain's head fall into the river with the helmet, he immediately abandons doing the helpful thing for the Vikings and just jumps straight into the river. And they're like, wait, what? This kid's crazy.
Right.
We understand it perfectly because it's all in line with his motivations. If he was to end up splitting off and going on his own way,
where do the motivations go?
He would have to wrestle with his own internal mind and all that.
This is where I would think that it would go if they had decided to do that, is that he's going after Floki, and he cannot be with Askeladd when he does that.
Okay.
You know, and that's basically the excuse for it, because he has to do it as a rogue thing because he's going up against someone with political connections and, you know, and a ridiculous army at his disposal.
Yeah, and they did showcase Floki in this episode as kind of a reminder. he is, where he is, what he's doing.
And if you go after someone like that, you have to be no one. Like, if you have any
That's
connections,
true.
anything that can't be hidden or whatever, then they will find those things and they will crush them.
God, but his family is still alive in Iceland.
Well, then I guess he has to make sure that Floki never realizes that it's him doing it.
Oh.
You know?
I mean, who would remember...
Yeah, exactly.
Who would remember
some
that
brat
little kid,
right?
Yeah.
And it's not like he was the one who killed Thor's. So,
Right.
you know, like he wouldn't.
But he did try to separate himself from being directly involved in it.
Oh yes, but because of that, there wouldn't be as strong of a memory of like, oh yes, this is Thor's kid, kind of a thing.
True.
You know.
True.
Yeah.
But yeah, y'all, this was an episode.
boy.
Medieval combat. Askeladd being a mad lad. Thorfinn being a badass.
That first-person perspective on the wall.
Yes, when he's like weaving and bobbing through them, leaping over the shields, underneath the swings of the blades, and just...
That was everything that I wanted to see from the idea of having different weapons meaning things.
Yeah.
Not just the crossbows going through the shields, but I have knives.
I
You
can't
guys
cut off a
have
head
bows
with
and
that.
crossbows. Well, I can't cut off a head with that, but you guys have bows and crossbows. And you're on a narrow path, right?
Yep.
I have bodies for cover, and you can't really defend yourselves.
Yeah, you
right?
have to draw your sword. The part where the person draws the sword and mid-swipe, he slices off all 4 fingers of the guy and then continues in with it to kill him and stuff. And the guy's just screaming and stuff.
Right.
That was brilliant.
Yeah, because there's also just the psychological factor of suddenly, oh, shit, like, I didn't think I would have to defend myself up here, and now there's this crazy person charging me, you know? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Oh. Dagger, dagger, dagger.
Yep. If it's 27 feet or whatever for someone with a holstered gun versus a knife, like today, imagine what it would be like back then when you've got a crossbow. Like, you're done.
I mean, a crossbow, you just pull the trigger. Like, it's really easy to fire.
Yeah, so if you already have it drawn, you could theoretically do that. But then adding to that, like,
you
people,
ain't got a problem over there.
Yeah, but like adding into that people in the way and like, oh man,
yeah, you can't shoot your own men with that.
Yep,
so.
and it is way harder to maneuver something that takes 2 hands than 1 hand. Like with a pistol, you could at least like bring it back and fire or something. With a crossbow, you kind of have to have it like out here. Yeah, that's
like shotgun style. So
yep.
Y'all, thank you so much for watching this episode's reaction and discussion. It was awesome. If you want to see the next episode's reaction and discussion right now, though, go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon. You can get on early access there. You can watch full-length reactions there. And all this comes with Discord access, so you can chat with us about these stories, about anime in general, non-spoilery stuff related to Vinland Saga. You can get involved with the community. There's a lot of events and stuff going on in there. And you can also talk with Jacob about his book.
Yes, my sci-fi novel Battle Lines is still available for order on Amazon. The link is in the description below, so go check it out. Leave a review. Let people know what you think.
Yeah, so if any of that interests you, we'll see you there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.